Welcome to Be For Real, where we keep it sweet like honey.
And as real as it gets.
I'm Bella. I'm the co-host, and I've been at MSB for a total of 2 years.
My name is Ebony.
And today's topic is about MSB versus public school.
And I'm real excited for this episode because we have a special guest, which is Keith.
Hi.
And he's been at MSB for a total of 5 years.
So, Keith, tell me about your public school experience.
My public school experience was pretty cool. I did like public school before I came here. I've been in public school since I was little.
Your experience from public school is different from mine because I've never been to public school. I've always been at MSB. So, how was... And Bella's was different from both of ours.
I was at public school majority of my life. Okay, Keith.
Yes.
How do you think your social life has improved from MSB?
I think my social life improves because in public school, I didn't really have a big friend group. And when I came here, I found my purpose and I found my people that has the same disability as me.
I understand that because here is like, you can't really judge anybody because everybody has something that you can relate to. Public school, I can't really say because I've never been, but it seems like people won't really understand where you're coming from. Keith, can you tell us what accommodations did you have at public school versus now?
Public school accommodations that I had that I started taking was O&M and doing Braille. And here I'm still taking O&M.
Okay.
Did you feel different when you would have to get pulled out of class in public school? Did it make you feel a type of way when you were the only one getting those accommodations?
I would say yes, I felt some type of way because I didn't want nobody to look at me different because of my disability.
In the classroom, did like your teacher or other classmates like treat you differently than everybody else? Like, did they give you stuff to help you, or was it like you was scared to speak up so you just sat there?
Surprisingly, no, nobody has looked at me different. My teacher definitely gave me magnifiers in class to use.
Did that help you?
It did. It definitely did.
Okay.
Since your time joining MSB, has your visual on visually impaired students changed?
I would say yes, it changed.
Like, when you was at public school, did they, like, basically show how blind people usually act? And when you came here, you realized, oh, this is not how the stereotypes was actually.
Yes, actually. Public school in here, definitely.
Could you relate more to people here?
I relate to people here than I related back in public school.
Okay. What was the biggest shock to you when you came to MSB?
The biggest shock coming here was hearing that other students were actually blind when I heard the word visually impaired or blind and stuff.
Okay, so you didn't know what visually impaired and blind was the difference between those two?
No, not at all.
Okay. That's different from me because, like I said, I always been at MSB, so I always was, like, taught, okay, I have a visual impairment. The people I go to school with has a disability, so I can relate to. But when, like, I go out in public, people look at me like I'm different. Because, like, some of my friends uses a cane, and their stories is, like, people don't want to be around them. They be scared to talk to them, or they just treat them like they don't understand simple things.
Mm-hmm.
So was it like that at public school?
It was. It definitely was, because when I, back in public school, I don't think my public school knew what visually impairment was besides the teachers and the principals and stuff. But none of the students actually knew what being visually impaired was about.
Okay. Bella, do you want to say anything?
I just have one question. Since at MSB, for like your first week, who do you think really made you feel like, okay, this is the place? What made you realize that this was so much different and better than public school, in your opinion?
I would say the school itself, because I got to see full hand on what kids having a visual impairment was all about and how much they can accomplish in life and stuff.
Okay.
We're going to take a pause on those questions, and we're going to play a game. It's Would You Rather.
Okay.
So,
Do we all know how to play Would You Rather?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I'll leave the first one. Would you rather go 10 years back in time knowing what you know now, or 10 years in the future without knowing nothing?
I will say going back in 10 years and knowing stuff that I know now.
I would agree with that, because I could change stuff. I already know what was going to happen if I change stuff.
I would go back so I could pass all my classes because I would already know the topic. Okay, next question. Would you rather always talk in rhymes or sing everything you say?
I would sing, because I can't.
I'd rather rhyme everything I. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That would get annoying to me.
I'd rather sing because I don't think I can make up that many rhymes.
Would you rather laugh at every sad situation or cry every day?
I'd rather cry every day, honestly.
That's interesting. I would laugh at every sad situation, because if I laugh, guarantee you somebody else is going to laugh.
So it would make a difference in my life. Okay, one more question. Would you rather go to MSB or public school? This is the big question.
I'd rather go back to public school because how I did have a good time there. I definitely grown in public school before I came here. And when I first hit high school, I was like, this is where I can start being more mature, being more responsible, and stuff.
Coming from,
I'd rather
I
go back to
would want
public
to
school.
experience public school too.
I think for elementary school and middle school, MSB would be a place. But I feel like for high school, you want that high school experience. You want the public school interactions. You want the fun dances. You want
Yes.
the football games. You want the rallies.
Yeah.
I feel like for high school, you would want that.
That's it for the game. We're going to go back to
Questions. What advice would you
Give students that attend MSB for their first year, I would say, keep an open mind, be who you are, and don't change for anyone.
That's good advice, I would say. Did anybody give you advice when you first came to MSB?
Sadly, I cannot remember, but I will say no.
Was it any specific person that was like welcoming, letting you be friends with them?
I would say yes. The person who actually showed me around my first year here was Michael Brooks.
Oh, okay. Did you feel comfortable enjoying clubs or sports at public school than now?
I never did any sports in public school or joined clubs, but when I came here, cheerleading and soccer was my first two sports that I did, and now I'm currently playing goalball.
And
shout out to our Go Ball team?
shout out, we had a game yesterday, so shout out to
Whoop,
them.
whoop.
And which I've been on some sports teams with you, and
Me too.
I would say you're a really good athlete,
Thank you.
and you are a really fast runner.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah. Um.
What does I just had this word.
What independence?
What does
What?
independence mean to you?
Independence mean to me is
Oh my gosh.
having to do things on your own, having to manage your budgeting on important stuff and not wasting your money on stuff that you really don't need and stuff that you actually need to be independent far as like groceries, your house, your bills, all that type of stuff.
Okay. For how has your sense of independence changed from when you wasn't in public school till now?
Can you repeat that question?
How has your sense of independence changed when you was in public school than like now?
My sense of attending MSB versus public school, and I will start with public school first. Public school, I I had sense, but then again, I didn't have sense because I was still trying to find who I was back in public school, trying to find out if I will be good.
Independence. Like, how has your sense of independence changed? Like, so like
For you.
Yeah, so
For
when you were in
you.
public school, like when you answered the first question, like you said, independence to you mean like just basically managing your life and being responsible.
So how
of
was
you.
that?
So was that the same? Was that your same response back then versus now?
Keith, what does independence mean to you?
Independence means to me is managing your own life on how you imagine your own life should be, like managing your money on responsible stuff, far as your housing, your bills, and putting food and stuff in your fridge and stuff so you can eat.
Okay. So how has your sense of independence changed when you was in public school and now?
In public school, I wasn't independent because I was still a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, I was like by myself and stuff. So like, I really ain't know what independence was back in public school. And then when I came here, people explained to me what independence really means on how it should look and stuff.
So do you think you're independent now?
Yes.
Do you think your mental health has improved since you came to MSB?
Yes, I think my mental health improved by coming to MSB because I have found the right people to talk to about my mental health on how I'm really feeling and how my mental is.
Okay. I I would kind of
Interesting.
agree to that. I would see how this school helped you with your mental health, because public school is really hard, and this school is like it takes a load off of you. It's still stressful, but it's easier than public school. So I would agree with you.
Keith, do you think you can be yourself at MSB?
I think I can be myself at MSB because I definitely have found myself a little bit. I'm starting to do sport. I'm doing more sports than I ever have, and I actually can be myself here.
Okay. So you stay on campus, right?
Yes.
So how do you think you can be yourself in the dorms?
In the dorms?
Or do you have to put your guard up?
Both.
I can be myself in the dorms. I can. Why? Because the people that I'm around, they don't judge me for anything they just let me be my true self on how they see me as. So
Okay.
I would say yes.
I can relate to that because I also in the dorms, and I feel like the dorms, you can be yourself. It's more fun. You have more freedom.
Yes.
With saying that, do you think you can be yourself more in school or in the dorms?
Oh, in the dorms, 100%.
I will also have to agree with Bella in the dorms, yes.
Okay. And when you're doing sports, do you think you can be yourself, or does it depend on who's on the team or the coaches?
I can be myself when I'm playing sports because I love doing sports and I can show who I really am as an athlete and show my full talent.
Since your time attending MSB, do you think the sports are different compared to public school?
I definitely think MSB sports are different than public school because there are so many different types that visually impaired kids can participate in, far as like goalball and soccer requires eye shades when you're fully blindfolded. Cheer, wrestling, basketball, and track and field are not required to use eye shades, and I never did sports in public school.
I can relate. Well, kind of. I did public school sports and MSB sports, and public school sports were definitely more harsh. They were definitely on you more. MSB, their sports are more modified, and I'm not used to the modified way. So, like cheer, I'm used to doing all these big flips and stuff for cheer, but we can't do that at MSB. So, I definitely think the sports are more modified.
Okay.
I can only say I have done MSB sports like Keith, and I did all of those sports. Some was with Keith, some was with Bella or both, or was by myself. And I would say when you first do it, it will be a change, but when you keep doing it every year, it will be good. Like my first time doing blind soccer and goalball, like I already knew how to play them, but it was like tough because when I actually had a game, and my friend Brasia, which is the producer, she helped me out, and she basically took me in, and she just showed me how to do it better than what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna also have to agree because
We love BB here.
I'm
She is very
gonna have to
appreciative.
agree because I never did go ball. I never knew what it was till I came here and saw how it was actually played. And just like Ebony said, thanks to Breezer because Breezer definitely gave me some tips and pointers what to do and what not to do. And I love her for that. And I love go ball now. So
Let's wrap up and talk about our next episode. So the next episode is going to be about talking boundaries with peers in school, and which I'm excited for it. Bella,
I'm scared. I really am.
you have to stay tuned to know who the guest is, but it's going to be really interesting.
Fun too. That is it for today's episode. Remember, at Be For Real,
We keep it
real,
raw
and
It's
sweet like honey.
So,
Clock it!
so thank you, Keith.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Bella. Thank you for everybody
Thank you to me.
behind
What you
the
thanking me for?
scenes. Thank you to our producer, Brasia, again. She made sure that we all was good and we did it correctly. So thank you.